Welcome to Dead Time with your host, Holly Faust. Okay, hi guys. Welcome to another episode of Dead Time Tales. Tonight, hailing from the parish of Appalachia, aka Pittsburgh, for all you that don't know, we have the Appalachian Ghost Girls. That's comprised of two best friends, Jenn and Coco, who are basically the dynamic duo of all things spooky in Appalachia. They host a bi-weekly podcast that's all about the thrills and chills of the region and embark on adventures that'll be documented on their YouTube channel. So, a little bit about the girls. With her experience as a former lead member and founding member of Bump in the Night Society, and as Morticia Kardashian, Jenn has found success utilizing her extensive paranormal background to inject humor into her work while maintaining a strong emphasis on history and folklore, capitalizing on the enduring appeal of a well told ghost story. Coco is a relative newcomer to the field, but her affinity to the macabre has long been a significant aspect of her life. As a part time death doula, she's cultivated a deep understanding of the end of life process. She creates one of a kind cremation memorials, and her artistic endeavors involve creating pieces with ethically sourced animal bones, insects, and natural elements, which allows her to feel a profound connection to the world around her. Let's welcome the girls in. Hi, girls.
Hi.
And for all you that, don't get to see some of us in the beginning, we had a lot of technical issues, but as usual, we got Tia.
We got through it. Yeah.
And
we
girls,
always
I
have
am
technical issues.
Oh, I always do too, but I am so grateful that you guys have come on. You are actually from one of my favorite areas in the state, Pittsburgh. It became our second home. My daughter was a patient at Children's Hospital for over a year. So we spent a lot of time out in that area. So I was just really thrilled when Jen was like, "Yeah, I'll come on." I'm like, "Cool." So,
Yeah, no, we're
and
excited.
I
Thank
love the
you.
name. I love the name. I grew up in Appalachia. I actually grew up in the Valley. I think they call it the Valley area of Appalachia. So, we've always said we were the Valley Girls, but we were like, the hillbilly Valley Girls. So, back in the day when everybody knew what a Valley Girl was. So,
that is such a vibe, though. A hillbilly Valley Girl.
Yeah, and that's what we would always say. And for me, I am a practicing witch, and I actually just started studying granny magic, which everybody knows is Appalachian folk magic.
Yeah.
So, I was really like, I always, when I see stuff on the page, I'm like, I love their name. Like, who would have thought? And not many people know how to pronounce it, which I've learned.
Yes. I've argued with quite a few people over it. Yeah.
I'm like, how hard is it to say? I guess when you grow up in the area.
Yeah.
So, now, Coco, when I had seen that you were a death doula, that was so intriguing because it's something that I've done a lot of lengthy research on. We talk a lot about it in our witches group. A lot of we have a witches group for Pennsylvania only, and we have like 13,000 members of witches of all kinds.
That's awesome.
And a lot the death doula conversation does come up. So before we get into the paranormal, can you just explain to everybody like what a death doula is?
Yeah. So essentially, like, a death doula is just, you're a non-medical person there as like just emotional support as a person transitions from this life into the next. You can do so many things. Like, I used to just sit bedside with people that were passing that maybe didn't have anybody. I would do their nails, give them hand massages, read them stories. You're essentially just there as a kind of bridge between, say, like a hospice nurse and the patient, because I'm not doing anything medical. I'm there to like provide resources. I'm there to help with maybe rituals that the family wants to do, like a legacy project or whatever they may want for their passing family member. I'm kind of just that person that's there for emotional support, for resources, to call and say, hey, like, no family member can be with, so and so. Are you able to come sit with them? Can you be with them? We can help in preparing the body after they've died if they're having a home a home viewing. We
Mhm.
could help with cleaning the body, with wrapping it, and however, say they're going to bury their loved one. We could just help in that process and give them resources to aid as well. Not many people know like the funerary process,
Right.
or there's a lot of misconceptions on what's legal and what's not. A lot of people think you have to be embalmed. You absolutely do not. People think you have to be like in a casket, in a you don't. You can be somewhere like my favorite place, Penn Hill. It's in Penn Hills, Penn Forest Natural Burial Grounds. Um, it's all natural, no caskets. People are just buried in like natural materials, whether it's like cotton, burlap, anything that's natural that can go into the earth and kind of degrade with your body.
Right, similar to
You
the
can
way
be
we do it as indigenous people.
exactly the way things were before the Civil War, and
Mhm.
before like Abraham Lincoln went on a tour around the world with his dead body so people could look at him. But yeah,
I
so
should have
we're
not taken a drink at that point.
yeah. I like to kind of consider myself a psychopomp because that's
Right.
essentially what
And
yeah,
I had
you're
gotten
transitioning that person from this life
exactly,
to
and
what comes next.
I had gotten very intrigued by it because my father went through hospice, and the
Mhm.
person that was kind of that person for our family ended up marrying my mom afterwards.
Oh,
But they had
well,
known each other since high school. And
yeah.
we truly felt that that was the reason why, my
Mhm.
dad was able to go because he knew. My dad had been dying for years.
Wow.
And we used to call him Lazarus because I used to get called to go home and he'd be unconscious. They'd come give him the last rites and he was up again. And so finally it got
Just
towards
kidding.
the end and I looked and said, "Don't call the priest." And my mom's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "If you call the priest, he's gonna go. He doesn't want the priest here." And that was his way of letting you know. It went on for 7 months.
Oh, wow.
And finally, when we didn't call the priest, he finally had and yeah, we grew up next to the funeral home, so he didn't have far to go.
Mhm.
They literally rolled the gurney down that alleyway from their place to ours and took him on his last walk up the alley. And that's
Just
how he
rolled him
wanted
down the
it.
street.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
love
it was
that.
like no, I literally could see the embalming room from my bedroom, and that's
Oh,
why I
that's wild.
had such a fascination with death,
Yeah.
and with all of that stuff and the paranormal because I grew up with it, like, right there in my backyard. I look out my window
Yeah.
and I was watching embalmings at, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah. Now,
I
was
used
your
to play
family like
cars.
very open about death and like they didn't
No,
like try? Okay.
my mother was, a residential school survivor. So she was assimilated into Christianity, and because of that, she totally let go of all of her indigenous self.
Mm.
She even to this day, she still keeps her hair cut short, like they did it to them when they were there.
Yeah.
She'll tell people, which is the biggest joke in our family. She'll say, "Oh, my dark skin, it's because I'm Welsh." And we're like, my youngest daughter's like, "You do know Welsh people are really white, right?"
Yeah.
But we let her go because we know she's healing still. And
Yeah.
will she ever be healed? We don't know. She was ripped away from her family.
Yeah.
And she'll
That's
tell
her
people she
journey.
was given away.
Yeah.
And we have to let her go because to her that's her truth. Her parents
Yeah.
gave her away. And so but yeah, no, but yeah, I had stuff going on my entire life, but instead of them like embracing it, they tried to have me exorcised.
Hmm.
Now, my indigenous
That's wild.
grandmother and my, Irish pagan grandfather, they were all like, "No, no, you're okay, you're normal." But
Yeah.
I had and I think that's why I got involved in the interfaith movement because I had so many faiths coming at me at once.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that you guys do that I'm like was so excited about. You do the girls and ghouls slumber parties. So can you guys
Yes.
tell them a little bit about because I know you have one coming up this weekend and then I think one in April that I saw.
Yes.
So
So I was at Gettysburg last year, and Brooke, who owns Wildwood Sanitarium, she was in the Airbnb with me, and I was in the shower, and I come out, and I'm like, we should have a slumber party. Like we should do slumber parties. And then I told you about it too.
That's literally what you did whenever we were in LA. The day after we were on what was it called?
Queen Mary.
The Queen Mary, and
Uh,
almost murdered each other. The next, like, when after we like talked and we calmed down, she comes out of the bathroom. We should have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, we almost just killed each other the other day.
Yeah.
But now you, but I was
I
like,
get
okay.
inspired. I get inspired in the shower.
Go ahead. Sorry, that's
okay.
that's where all great thinking happens,
Yeah,
the bathroom.
apparently she gets all.
So I mean, it was gonna be like a one-time thing at first. Like, oh, we'll just do it at Wildwood, and then we're like, we should do one like almost every month. So we have a lot planned. We haven't released everything yet.
Yeah.
Right now we have the Wildwood one this coming weekend. We have Hinsdale next month. May we're kind of taking off a little bit, but then June Hoover House.
Mm-hmm.
July is another off because of vacation, but
We have-
August is Bill Manor.
July we have other stuff
We have
going
Gettysburg
on.
too.
Yeah,
and
the bash,
other
that's like 4
paranormal
days.
thing.
Yes, that's a whole thing.
That's like a
Yeah.
4-day, like I can't even imagine the crash we're all gonna have after that.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting.
It's gonna be a lot.
It's exhausting. Whenever I do,
That's my first one. When I'm in for a
you
trip.
visited one.
Well, I came, but we weren't like vending.
Yeah, it's whenever I would stay in the hotel, I would like go to my room for a little bit, like in the middle of the convention, because I just needed a break.
And I'm
But-
trying to talk my child into coming with me because I'm like, what if I have to go to the bathroom, man?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to go and be around all those people for 3 days. I'm like, gee, thanks.
But yeah, I don't even go to the parties and all that stuff normally because
I'm
so
going to the
tired.
karaoke night, man. I don't care.
Well, we're doing.
We're gonna go to some stuff because I'm gonna want to go.
I talked to Pam on the phone the one day, and like, so we're speaking at the Women in the Paranormal. We're doing the Women in the Paranormal panel on Friday night. That we're leading, so you should come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you have some good stories about. I mean,
yes,
before we got on
yes
live, you were just telling us what it was like for you.
Oh yeah,
paranormal. So
definitely those of us that like. I mean, I've been doing this for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18 when I started. Back when I started, groups weren't everywhere. You know, you had to really. People would look at you like you were crazy when you're like, "Oh, I want to learn about ghosts." But I got started because I lost my best friend to suicide, and I was told he didn't go to heaven. And I was like, "But that doesn't make sense." And that's what started my whole trip. So yeah, I would definitely come and bring that in because I think it's important for women to, because if we think about it, we're basically, if you look at the history of the paranormal, we're the ones who started a lot of this stuff in the paranormal.
Yeah.
And people don't look at that.
Yeah, and there's so much like we need to with the women that I've come in contact with in the paranormal, there's some that I absolutely love, and then there's some that like literally try to tear each other down. So this panel is gonna bring us all together to talk, to be empowered, you know what I mean? Because like I mean, it is, the men do try to dominate the paranormal world. I mean,
yeah, and they forget, if it wasn't for women, like most of the terms that we have in the paranormal, like tulpa and poltergeist, they come from women.
Yeah.
Women brought them into the forefront. And I only know that because, you know, I was part of a book club in the former team that I was on. And our team foundations was on research. And we were pushed to read these books, and not just the current books, but the stuff that has been out there since the 1800s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which they're horrible reads. But if you really want to learn stuff from back in the day, it's fascinating.
It is. So yeah, we're doing that, and that's gonna be great. So anybody that's
I think the slumber party thing though, like when I seen that, I was like, if it wasn't March.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. I've gone to Wildwood every March the last 3 years, and it's always different. Like last year when we went, it was great.
Well, and my mom was like raised in Resland up through that area.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar. And but yeah, I'm don't like to drive on the highway to begin with.
Yeah, and I think it is supposed to snow this weekend. Like I think it is
here,
like a little bit.
Here we're supposed to get rain.
Okay.
It's been in the 50s here.
Yeah, it was nice here, but then today it was cold.
It didn't get cold until tonight, and then the wind picked up. I mean, the wind has been so bad here, it literally lifted my husband's huge gas grill up off my stove. and into my
Yeah.
driveway. It smashed it.
It snowed here earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like in
It
we
was
Pittsburgh.
no,
frigid
we haven't
today.
had any, but it's supposed to be in the 50s here. But I mean, they're a little further north. They're
Oh
further
my gosh.
north
I
for
know. You
us.
just never, I mean, they're right by like the lake.
They
They're
get all
like,
the lake effect snow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
especially because when we went up there, I think we stayed at Lake Erie.
okay.
And when we were there, well, no, that was when we were at Hinsdale. When we were literally driving to Hinsdale from Lake Erie, we got like a funnel cloud. Like the
Wow.
skies turned green, and we're watching all these people pulling over on the side of the highway.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I'm like, no, no, I drive slow. So my friends are all laughing. They're like, well, the tornado will catch us real quick. And I'm like, no, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. And the Hinsdale house was insane because the minute we turned on the road to go up there, my radio started playing Highway to Hell. You
Yeah.
talk about synchronicity.
Yeah.
Hinsdale is I've stayed there twice and it's been winter, like it's snow every time. But like I was trying to explain to her because she's never been there. And when we have this event next month, we're keeping it because it's a small
Mhm.
place. So we're only selling 10 tickets.
Yeah,
Um,
that's more than enough. Because I mean, I
yeah,
think we only had a group of 5 or 6 and we were
yeah.
crowded.
And it's like, but the vibe is definitely it's
I
creepy.
I
I
can
can't believe.
honestly say when we were there, I slept in my car.
Okay. Did
I
you
took
really?
I took my chances outside because when we pulled up, I literally sat in the car like this for
Yeah,
a good 10 minutes because I could hear
yeah.
chanting and like native stuff coming from the forest.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like the
And
forest up by the
yeah,
tree, it's
yep,
just,
and
yeah.
of course, we get in there and it starts pouring. It was pouring so bad the water was coming up
Oh my
in the
God.
basement, and we're, like, freaking out, we
Oh my
lost
God.
power. So I'm like, "I ain't staying in this house, no way." And I kept my blanket up over my head in my car. I had a big Ford Flex, so I had lots of
Yeah.
room, but I kept waiting to, like, pick my head up and see, like, an elder standing above me
Oh my
saying, "Yo,
God.
what are you doing?"
Oh
Yeah.
my
But yeah, so that place, yeah, it's
Well,
on my list to go back.
even like sitting in the bathroom, the door to the basement's in the bathroom. So you're on the toilet and you're like, oh God, this door is gonna open. The basement's like,
Oh my
it's just a
god.
mud floor and
Yeah,
it's
when we were
really,
there, it was flooded.
oh God.
Yeah, when we
Yeah.
were there, we could see the water coming up the steps. But yeah, I don't even go to the bathroom in those places alone. Now, I've been doing this for a very long time, but I have learned I always have a bathroom buddy and an exit
Smart.
buddy.
Yeah, I was very much like that in the beginning. I think I've gotten desensitized, but the Hinsdale house does leave me a little like it's a little unnerving.
Wildwood, I was down. I have this thing. I don't know why. Because we did St. Albans
Mhm.
Sanitarium, and we were like walking around. I'm like, I smell chlorine. And everybody's laughing at me. I'm like, no, I smell chlorine. I smell chlorine. And we turn the corner, and there's the where they did the baths,
Okay.
the therapeutic bathing.
Yeah.
And so we walked into Wildwood, and I'll never forget it. It was only 3 of us. And I kept saying, I smell chlorine. We're standing like right in the main room. And my friend's like, oh, really? Now I always go in blind because I want to test my
Yeah.
abilities. And she's like, oh, really? Because she'd been there before. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I smell chlorine. And she's laughing. And we go down the basement
It's a
and
bathtub.
literally stand by where I said I smell chlorine. There's a bathtub
Yeah.
literally right underneath where I was saying that. And that
Yeah.
literally, there used to be a curtain in the one back area. I guess they kept cleaning supplies or something back there.
Yeah.
And we had a friend that said, oh, when I was here, I didn't I for some reason I felt like we shouldn't go back there. I'm like, okay. Well, then the other girl with us was like, now you know I want to go back there. So as she's going to go back there, I'm on one side of the room. My friend starts walking over. Some man just comes right up and gets in my face,
Oh.
like zoom, right in my face.
Yeah.
And I literally jumped. Now I was a big girl. I was 300 pounds back then. I half the time I spent in the wheelchair. And I literally jumped up and across that
Oh
basement
my
because that's
God.
how like it. And I'm like, I don't think he wants you back there, man. So yeah, and that's why I'm going back in August.
Okay.
I actually booked the 30th of August to go back, and I'm just
Cool.
trying to find people to come with me. I don't care if nobody comes with me. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll take my kid, and she can. She likes to do the Estes method. So
Yes. Yeah, I
I
do
like
too.
doing SDs.
I do too. It's a
yeah,
good time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. We're bringing Christopher Lee Jansen. He's amazing,
Yeah.
psychic medium, and he's coming with us too. He's gonna lead a séance in the beginning. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. But I told her, I was like, she's learning. She's learning a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. She loves
I'm still a baby.
Yeah, you're
but
still a baby. That
I'm a
from yeah,
baby.
like what have you like?
I'm a
Have there been a
ghost
lot of
baby.
places that you've investigated so far?
I have not. So I've been to Wildwood. I've been to the Denny house.
we went to Hillview Manor with me.
Hillview.
Mm.
Where were we just at
Dead Man's
recently?
Hollow. We went there.
We were just at
We went to the Heyman House
Heyman
in West
House.
Virginia. That I absolutely
Okay.
love that place.
We loved that place. We had a lot of activity there. I saw my first shadow figure.
Oh, that's
Well,
pretty
aside from the
awesome.
ones in my house,
Yeah, her house.
saw literally my house is haunted, but saw like it walking through this room, and that was like my first big experience at the Heyman house.
And
Oh,
it's
that's
on
pretty
video
cool.
where
Yeah.
because
Yeah, because the room it was like
there's a toilet in there.
the servants' quarters, so it was
Okay.
like
There's a toilet.
bed, whatever. There was a toilet, and then up on like
And
it was up higher. There was a tub. And
I'm so
a toilet.
unserious. I'm so unserious all the time. And she's like, oh my God, like all serious. And the other people are like, oh, and then I'm like, I come running in with the camera. I'm like, well, maybe he had to poop.
Yeah,
And
because I was like, he must
Oh
have
my
asked the
god,
room
we
from the
would get
bed to
along
the
so well
toilet.
in an investigation. I am this same way. I take nothing seriously.
Yeah,
I
no,
got
we're always
jumped.
goofy.
Yeah.
I got jumped in St. Albans by the entity they call like the crawler or the creeper or something like
Oh.
that. And I literally laid on the floor it was my own fault that I got jumped because we had a grid up and we're going down the hall and we knew this entity was in this hall. And that's what we were hoping to see. That's why we put the grid up. And it popped right out in the grid. And there's two guys with me, and they're both like heavy metal rockers, big guys covered in tattoos. Another friend of mine, but I don't blame him because he was gay. And then my friend, and they're all looking at me and they're like, what should we do? And me being the sarcastic ass I am, I turned around and said, oh, run. So they all did. And I just stood there laughing because they all ran. And the next thing I know, I'm spilled out on my back on the floor with my hands up in the air saying, I think I lost my exit, buddy. But the rest of the night, I was down in like the safe room. I couldn't move. I was in so much pain. And it was like, oh my God, it was the scariest thing. But I still joke about it because I'm not afraid. I went to, oh my God, Malvern Manor out in Iowa. And they have one of those types of things there. And I'm like trying to get Josh Hurd, the guy who owns it. I'm like, Josh, let's go. Let's stand it down. It's either going to hit you or it's going to run away. And he's like, no, 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 no. But that's my theory. It's either going to hit me or it's going to run away.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't been like assaulted by anything yet. I've had things threaten me. Like people have done like triple S's and I've had things like threaten to punch me in the face and call me. I mean, I get called names all the time.
I get called names all the time
Wait, where
too.
were we just at with where were we just
Bill
at?
Manor
Bill
in Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't have a ton.
We didn't, but she went into the closet to do S's. I was filming her on live and I put a clip up and like she didn't know I was filming her and she's just doing it and like she leans over and farts. And
Oh,
like
no.
I'm on live and I'm like, she just farted. You can hear it go like brr, like up against whatever I was sitting on.
That's my stomach now. Like I always remember like when we were learning doing EVPs, when your stomach growls, make sure you say stomach.
Yeah.
Well, I just did a private investigation like a couple of weeks back, and like every 2 minutes, and my stomach never worked before, and now all of a sudden, every 2 minutes, I'm like stomach, stomach. That's me again.
Yeah.
Just like,
One of my old team members from Bump, April, she had gastric bypass and her stomach was always making sounds and she'd be like, that's my stomach.
Oh,
yeah,
that's my
my
stomach. Like
stomach never
constantly.
did it before. Like, I never like, I couldn't understand why we would be out investigating and these people's stomachs would make so much noise. I'm like, "What's wrong with you people?" Now I understand my stomach didn't work.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, "Man." Now I used to actually work out in Uniontown
Oh, yeah, okay.
at a mansion. It was called the Keeley Mansion.
Okay.
It's a mental health facility. It's a psychologist that owns it, and he was a team member with the paranormal team I was with. He was our team psychologist for a while, and we ran weekends out there. And let me tell you, that place is
Okay.
hopping.
Okay.
There's a little bit of everything going on in there. I don't know if he still does. Like, well, I know last time we had messaged him when we wanted to go back out. I think back then it was right when COVID was still rampant. The only thing he required is everybody be vaccinated. But we were out there and we used to do weekends, and man, some of the stuff that we got there was insane. And it's like a twin to there's a convent there. I think it's called Mount Macrina or something like that.
Okay.
The mansion is actually a twin to that convent.
Okay.
And I know he had, are they the Kleiny brothers? They were the Ghost brothers. They had been out there
Okay.
and they literally got EVPs, like we always called like the demonic cases, bunny cases.
Okay.
And it literally said rabbit, 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 pick up at the convent in the EVP.
Oh my god.
So we were all like, oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm
What's
like,
the name of
maybe
that place?
the Keeley Mansion. I can send you
Healy?
guys info. Yeah,
Yeah.
KEIGHLY.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I'm in Uniontown ever so often because like
Yeah, because what we did there, and then on one of our trips, we investigated the theater too.
okay. There, you know what I always wanted to check out, but I don't know if they would be open to it, like the Summit Inn, like
Mm.
right going into the mountains. I've heard there's some
They
stuff
have the
going on there.
restaurant up there.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I've
beautiful.
eaten at that restaurant. It's pretty creepy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives me like The Shining, like
Yeah,
the
that's
Overlook
exactly what it
Hotel
reminded.
vibes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it
Yes.
reminded me of. Like you're driving up, and it's like in the middle, on the side of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, and it
Yeah.
gets so foggy up there.
Yes. I was just there. We went, my boyfriend and I went to oh my god, a restaurant like you're going towards Ohio Pile almost like on that
Okay,
road going up the mountain on the way back down because we went to there was a haunted house like a Valentine's themed haunted house out there because that's what I do on Valentine's Day. And so we
I
just
would
passed
die.
we just passed the Summit Inn and I'm like, I really want to go there. And he's like, it's
I
closed
wonder
during the
if they
winter.
would be open for something like that.
Well, it's closed during the winter, so I wonder if you could get in the winter time because they have a. I
Yeah,
used to
just say,
know a
"Hey, I
guy.
wanna rent it. We don't need to
Yeah.
we don't need heat or nothing. Just
No,
let us have the place."
yeah, because I know they have a guy that I knew used to like be one of the caretakers there during the winter time. So I know they have a caretaker, so you can leave your caretaker there, like if you want, you're worried about whatever, but like
Right.
might be
Yeah,
really
I never even
something to
would have
look
thought of
into.
that,
Yeah,
but that
for
that place
sure.
that place is really kinda creepy. I will admit
Yeah,
that.
there's a battlefield out there too, and then you got like Braddock's grave is out there, and like there's all that
There's
stuff.
also, like, a cemetery, and I can't remember, like, a little, like, church or something like that, but, like, allegedly, because Alan was gonna take us there, but allegedly, if you get caught trying to go in there, they'll, like, arrest you,
Oh God.
and I'm like, "I don't wanna go in. I don't want that happen."
I
Like,
don't
in
run.
my
Yeah.
I
area.
don't run fast enough. Run
Well, I
well.
do from what I've heard from the last few public investigations I've been on, I guess I run pretty fast now. Because when we did, not Madison, Mansfield Reformatory out in
Mhm.
Ohio, I got chased around solitary confinement by something,
Okay.
and then later on, we found out about the story of the guy that actually, like, killed his cellmate in solitary and, like,
Yeah.
wore him as a costume. Well, that's right
Yeah.
where the guy started chasing
Oh
me,
my
was right
god.
by that cell.
Yeah.
And, like, you could hear on the EVP, like, on our EVP recorder, my friend saying, "Stop running, stop running." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, no, I'm no, 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 no." And then we were up in the sanctuary, like
Yeah.
the chapel, and I kept smelling smoke and burning flesh. And I guess someone was literally lit on fire right outside the chapel there on the other side. I didn't know about any of it because I didn't look into any of it. I'd only been there because of the movie Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
We did a day tour. We
Okay.
came down and did a day tour, and I didn't even get through the tour because I couldn't get up past the second floor. My legs didn't
I've
work that good.
we were the we always did Parapsychon, and when I was with Bump, we were the social media partners. So
Right.
we would go in early, like in February before, and film stuff for like to promote. But then like this past May, we did it, and we were able to, like, we had big screens and we'd run investigations during it. But I went down in the basement by myself, back in the one dark, completely dark room. I just hung out there by
Oh no,
myself.
I know what room you're talking about. Oh
Yeah.
hell no.
This is crazy.
Not alone. Not
I was
alone,
down there
man.
taking I was down there taking selfies because there was like
Of
some
course
window.
you were. Of course.
No, no, no.
It was
I
the
had a hard
creepiest
enough
room in the
time.
place to take
Right.
selfies.
And that's like, yeah, that I've heard. I was down there. I did not like it down there at all.
Oh
I
yeah,
got sick. I
it
got
feels
sick.
it feels icky for sure.
Well, we're definitely
Yeah.
gonna have to do an investigation together.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're
god,
gonna
I would
have
love
we
it.
have to do
I,
something together.
yeah, I can just see now. Jen will be doing something. I'll be in the corner laughing at her. And you'll be the
Yeah,
only serious one.
yeah.
I've
She's not
learned.
serious.
No, I'm not
Okay,
serious.
well that's good because in all the years that I've been investigating, the first I'd say 15 or so, I was a very serious investigator. Then I got involved with my former team, and they were very serious in the beginning, but then we went through a lot of crap, and all of a sudden, like, we became lighthearted. And when I would go with my friends, we actually would find we were getting better EVPs and better recordings when we were sitting around laughing and joking.
Yes, you do. When you're just
We were,
talking and having
yeah,
fun.
Hmm.
yeah, and that's what I found. And like,
Yeah.
why be serious? Like, these
No.
spirits, like, they don't like to perform on command.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they think you're there ignoring them,
Yeah. I took a
then
lot of crap for that. Like when I was with Bump,
right.
I built theirs. Like, I mean, it's not a secret. I built their social media. They have 208,000 followers on TikTok because I built it. They have a large following because I built it, and then I had to
And
walk
that's
away.
hard to do. I have like almost
Yeah.
13,000 on TikTok, and I know what work I had to put into it
Yeah.
to
She's
Yeah.
get
constant,
those.
like all day long. I'm like,
Yeah. And I know. But like that was the thing, was some of the team members like would talk about me behind my back or give me a hard time, or other people would say stuff about like me being like too like goofy or like too silly about things. You know what I mean? And like it's funny now because now they're like kind of trying to.
Hey, I got called trailer park trash man.
That's all right.
And I'm like, I don't care. I'd rather be a trailer park trash any day than a
Yeah.
silver spoon little snot.
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no way we could ever be serious together
No.
No,
at all.
no. Like, look, I'm wearing cat ears for Christ's
Yeah.
sake.
Like the
You
second
know,
I come into your house, I'm like raring to go, like
yeah.
do
I'm
some
I'm the same
shit.
way. Like, I don't know. I think I spent so many years of my life depressed and in
Mhm.
pain
Yeah.
that I truly just love life now.
Good. Good.
I love that
Like,
for you.
like
I'm
I tell
trying to
people,
get there.
oh, I tell people all the time, what color hair am I going to wear today? And I
Yeah.
don't hide it. Like, my teeth, they're fake.
Yeah.
And most of the time I don't wear them, but I try to wear them when I'm on air. Because, but for that most
Well,
part,
like who cares?
yeah, who cares? It's me. You
Yeah.
don't like it, then goodbye. And like,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
tell I don't hide the fact, hey, I was a drug addict. I had a bad addiction and
Yeah.
I overcame it. So every scar and everything on my body, I earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I embrace them. I
Yeah.
didn't for a long time, but thankfully I have an amazing husband who's a saint because he
That's good.
deals with this crap.
It's
Yeah.
good to
And
have.
apparently has the same last name as me. Your last name?
Faust,
Yeah, her
Yes.
last name's
I'm a
Faust.
spelt the
Faust.
same way.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Well, we probably aren't related because my husband's family's name is not, well, Faust is a weird spelling with the A. Like in this area, if you go over the bridge from us, it's spelt with an O.
Mm-hmm.
And but
Yes.
well, you want to laugh. My husband's first name is Ivan.
Ivan Faust.
Think of this. You think the story of Ivan the Faust, right?
I don't.
He literally sold his soul to the devil and won it back.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
yes. Um my biology teacher in high school always used to call me devil worshiper.
yeah. Well,
It's like, thanks, man. Go
I've
it.
been called.
Go as Faust. The
Yes,
play is about,
yes,
yes.
yes.
I have like the big I have albums, and then any book I can ever find. Like
Yep.
if I'm thrifting anywhere, I will buy. The
Yep,
ghost
yeah,
spouse.
because my father would my dad I always tell people my dad was this Irish Catholic dude. He was born on the boat on the way here from Ireland,
Oh
and
wow.
he was Archie Bunker in the flesh, and he married a native woman. And so we always wondered, like, how did that work? Because you hated
Yeah.
everybody who was an Irish Catholic, but
Yeah.
they made it work, like, forever,
Yeah.
like, they met when
Wow.
she was 15.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
and they were together till he died, and she still talks about him every day.
Aw.
But yeah, I'm always like amazed by, my husband with his name though, his real last name was Centenni, but
Oh.
his grandfather didn't like the father, so he changed his name to his mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting.
because they were Italian. My husband's Italian and German,
I'm
and a little
Italian and
bit of
Irish.
Irish. Yeah, he has
I'm
a little
not
bit of
saying.
Irish in him
And
too. So
German and Lebanese.
well,
It's
and my
quite the
husband's Pennsylvania.
combo.
Yeah, he's Pennsylvania Dutch German.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So yeah, they're real,
That's
you
cool.
know.
Yeah.
They're real like, and that's where the area we live in is, loaded with
Mhm.
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah.
Got the powwowing, or is it like is
Oh,
that like
I wish I'm just learning about that,
Yeah.
and that's because of my husband's heritage. We try
Yeah.
to have our kids embrace their heritage because we were never allowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we eat German. We celebrate the German holidays. We just did Fastnacht Day. I never knew
Oh yes.
Fastnacht. I
Yeah.
never knew about it until I met my husband because Irish people,
Same.
we do Pancake Day.
Yeah.
We're pancakes, I don't know why, but we eat pancakes on, Fat Tuesday. And, but yeah, so I made fastnuts for the first time by myself.
How was it? Because we want to go.
Well, there's in West
Oh, I didn't
Virginia.
go to the festival. I stayed home and made them myself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you
In
went.
Helvetia, West Virginia. It's that small little town. I
Mhm.
wanted to go, but it was like, well, one, I had to go with my ex-husband so he could sign the divorce papers. But also like it was sold out. And I heard somebody that went there, they were like, yeah, they sold out like as soon as it
Mm.
opened. So it would have
We'll
been
have
like
to
it's
be on
3 hours away.
Yeah.
So next year I'm gonna be on it. Like as soon as the
On
pre-sale
it.
goes,
Yeah.
I'm buying
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah, we have a thing here like that, but it's a macaroni and cheese festival. They sell
Oh.
out so quick, and I'm like, "Why?
Amazing too. Pancakes, man. We're coming to your place.
Come on." We got
Oh
the
my
fairgrounds. Well,
gosh.
see, we have a big fair here in Bloomsburg, and it's a
Okay.
huge fair. So a lot of these places actually use the fairgrounds
Oh wow.
for their events. Like we have all types of crazy stuff there. But this year I'll actually be working a pride event there. And I'm like,
Okay.
"Oh, how's that gonna work?"
Yeah. Well, we need to
Yeah.
stop through there because like I keep telling her about Jim Thorpe, PA. I
Yeah.
love
Okay,
Jim
yep.
Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe is beautiful. I actually
Yes.
got to investigate the prison.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, we got the one team that I took a class purposefully. I was a seasoned investigator, but I wanted to go to the prison.
Yeah.
So I took their ghost hunting 101 class so that I could go investigate the prison.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I
Jim
like
Thorpe
I
is
drove
pretty
past it.
awesome.
It is. We went like
It's
right.
very busy.
It is. We went right before the fall. Like it was September, so it was
Yeah,
right before
oh,
all the fall
that
stuff
yeah.
happened. But like
Last
it was
year
awesome.
last year they did a witches night market, and
Uh,
literally it shut down like 3 towns because traffic could not get through.
Oh
I'm
wow.
It
sure
was
that it's that.
insane.
And do you feel like it feels spooky there? Do you feel it? Because
Yep.
I felt it.
Well,
Yeah, it
even
feels.
like where I live, our county seat is in Sunbury, and the courthouse there is ancient, and it was actually where one of the last Molly McGuire's was hung.
Okay.
And there's literally a tunnel underneath the city that runs from the courthouse over to where the old county prison was.
Oh wow.
And now that's been closed for quite a while. I think there was a fire. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I've been trying so hard
Yeah.
to get in there, but I don't know who owns it. Like, and then we also have an Oddfellows orphanage, which I was so
Um,
angry because Kalani, the ghost hunter,
yes.
and Destination Fear were both at this Oddfellows orphanage. And
Okay.
I'm watching it on YouTube and I was so angry. I'm like, that's literally like 2 miles from my house and they won't let me in.
Oh well,
So
you know. I mean, I'm friends with Kalani, but like, you know, they obviously like.
I
They
want to
have
know
the
how they found out about the place.
yeah. Well,
Mm.
they have like well now he doesn't even do ghost hunting that much. He does food stuff. But I mean,
Interesting.
they're big YouTubers and like Destination Fear used to be on TV. So
But I was like laughing because as they're driving in, I could see like the hospital where I used to work. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my god, we're in the middle of nowhere." And then they all lost cell phone signals and they were all freaking out. And I'm like, "Dude, there's no cell phone back there. You can't have no cell phones back there. We all know better. There ain't no towers back there." So, but yeah, and we have some like we have an area called the Bloody Creek back when Fort Augusta was built during the native times with the
okay.
colonial times.
Mhm.
Allegedly what had happened, there were soldiers there watering their horses and allegedly they were attacked by a group of natives, and I've debunked it, but the people don't like that I debunked it because there was literally clay sediment
Oh,
in the creek, but at certain
okay.
times of the year it runs red like blood.
Oh,
So that they
okay.
always claimed it was the spirits of the colonials that.
Ah.
And then there's a house like right down the road from us that has had multiple reports of people. What's the thumb?
Because I like
Oh,
had my cup,
okay.
and if you do like a thumbs up, it'll.
I didn't
No,
know
it's not
that.
gonna do it.
I know.
But I'd like see it. I'm like, what the heck? But they literally have seen like units from the Revolutionary War walking through the fields outside
Ooh,
their house, and the house was built
Wow.
like I can't even remember what year. My husband knows more because he's from this area. I
yeah.
grew up in Scranton,
Okay.
so I know more about that, the coal region stuff up there. But yeah, he was telling me stories because he's the UFO guy.
Okay.
But I'm the ghost girl. So
And I just love all of it. I want to hear
Yes.
all the alien
Yes.
stories, all
oh,
the
and
everything. I
that's
love
how.
it.
Well, if you guys ever make it out this way, let me know. We have a ghost town, and not Centralia. It's an
We
even
do want to
lesser
go
known.
there.
There's nothing there.
There's a
No.
church, I
That's
think.
it. The
Well,
Yeah.
we'll
church is
have to
up on the
make it a
hill.
point to just
I
like
can take
come
you there,
out and
but the
visit you and
graffiti highway is gone. They covered it
Yeah.
during COVID
They filled
because
it with dirt, right?
yeah, well, the problem was we had people coming in from like New York, New Jersey, and they were up there partying during COVID.
Mm,
They were driving like ATVs and what are those doom buggies and stuff up through
okay.
there, and the owners were like, no. Now it was a history here. Our kids would get their graduation pictures up there. I married people up there as a minister.
Okay.
Like I did 2 weddings up there on the graffiti highway because it's such a part of our history. But there's a cemetery left. There's a couple, I think there's 3 or 4 houses left.
Mm.
But you can still go back all the old roads where the
Yeah.
houses used to be.
I'd
Um,
love
the
to see the cemetery.
the fire department is still there. It's just empty, but the fire trucks and everything are still in there.
Yeah. I think
Very
everybody
cool to
thinks like
see.
it's gonna be like Silent Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
they'll be really disappointed. Like most people will say, "Don't come here. We don't want you."
Yeah.
There's really nothing spectacular. Please, it just makes it, crazy for us. But
Yeah.
we have a ghost town that's called Elvira.
Okay.
Mm.
It was a town that was taken over, I believe it was World War I or World War II. And I don't know if you ever been to Point Pleasant, West
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Like once.
Mothman.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bunkers that they had there that
Yeah.
they had the dynamite in. Well, this town is filled with those bunkers,
Oh
the
wow.
domed bunkers, because they
Yeah.
built a
Yeah.
dynamite factory there.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Now, part of the city town is the federal prison. So, of course, you can't go on there. But and then the rest of it is all state game lands now.
Oh wow.
So there's like 3 cemeteries. There's a bunch of bunkers. There's been Squatch sightings
Oh.
up there. I had an experience. We were in a bunker and we were walking towards it. My friends were in it, and I was like, I just don't like it back here at all. And then from out of nowhere, we just heard this really like low guttural. I'll never
Oh.
forget it. And I ran.
Oh my gosh.
Big old me ran as fast as I could to get out of those woods. I will never forget the sound, and I actually have shared this on like a couple of Bigfoot podcasts because no doubt in my mind, I heard a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
No
I
doubt.
believe it.
I want to
And
hear.
Whenever
I
we
want to hear
were
a Bigfoot.
me too. Well, there you
hey,
You
go.
are a
Well,
you,
Bigfoot.
I am
you
a
hook
Bigfoot.
up with Gwen because
We
they are
will.
literally tracking a few of them out here by us.
Okay.
Whenever we were down in Sutton, we went to the Bigfoot Museum,
Yeah.
and the woman Laurel was telling us all kinds of stories of Bigfoot, but like the locals there just they live alongside them. Yeah, they
Yeah.
see them. They might see them in their yard or peering through their window, but like
They
Dude,
call them
there's a
they call them ape
yeah,
men.
is that what they
there
call
Ape
them? We
men.
couldn't think of it
there
for one day.
there
And
is
they
a
just
reason I don't go in my backyard at night by myself. Because we literally will go if, like, you're out there up near the forest line at night where we have a fire pit,
mhm.
it literally feels like someone's watching you at all times. It
Yeah, I
is
wouldn't want to
lit
go out there.
I don't go up by myself because I've been sitting up there by my they have left me because that's where I like to go drink,
Yeah.
and, they'll leave me up there, and yeah, it's nuts.
As that's like my goal in life is to see a Bigfoot. Like I just
Yeah.
See, my goal in life used to be to, like, actually see a ghost, and now I'm done. I go to places now, and I'll be like, "Please go bother somebody
You're like,
else.
I've seen enough.
Please go bother somebody" but I wanna go back to these places.
Yeah.
Like West Virginia Penitentiary, I was literally and I can't even think of his name, but it was over in the protective custody side, the guy that was killed in his cell.
Yeah, Red. I hung out
Yeah,
with I was
Yeah.
Red.
hanging out with Red.
Well, no, no, no. I never went back into the cells. They always kept me away because when I went over to the general pop area, I started like freaking out and crying because I literally kept seeing someone marching with a stick with a person's
Oh
head on it.
wow. Oh God.
And then I found out from the people that, give the tours, they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't usually talk about that, but yeah, there was one of the uprisings where they decapitated a guy and
Wow.
they were marching in front of the windows with his head so the whole town could see it."
Oh
But
my
we went
God.
over, of course, I don't go down in the sugar shack. Not at all. Won't go down there. I hate it down there. But
I
we
was
went
like dry humping a mannequin down there. So I
Oh
got
my
video.
god, no. No, no, no. I stay away from there. Like I'll hang out outside
Yeah.
and like make an ass of myself out in the courtyard. But we went into the protective custody and we were walking around the cells and I don't know very many of the stories of anybody, but we make a corner. All of a sudden, next thing I know, I drop and I feel like I'm like being I felt like I was being burnt over and over again, but somebody would literally said what I was describing was being stabbed.
Mm.
Oh wow.
And I couldn't get up. They literally had to drag me out of there.
Yeah. Well, I was just there in June. I've been there. That's only
I've
about an
been there
hour
so
from.
many times.
Yeah.
I love it there, but I
I was
shouldn't go
there
back.
in June and like everybody was going everywhere and I was like I'm going to the North Block and I'm gonna go hang out with Red. I
Right.
walked down there by myself and I sat in the cell for about an hour by myself. Like I was the only person in that whole area and just talked to him. I got a little bit of stuff. He's kind of quiet, but
Yeah, and for me, I think it's because the way I read, I do a lot with feeling,
yeah,
and I think I was just feeling the
yeah.
latent energy from what happened to him.
27 times I think it was he got
Yeah.
stabbed.
And I kept just screaming, "I'm burning, I'm burning."
Oh,
And
oh wow.
and because I felt that feeling before, but
Yeah,
I never would have associated with being stabbed because it was
yeah.
all over my body.
Oh.
So yeah, it was because like even Bel Air House, I don't like it there either. But I want to go back. I got
I've done
sick.
I've done we used to do Friendsgiving there all the time, like my old team.
I seen
Yeah.
Kristen had posted that a couple times.
Yeah. Kristen, we're cool with Kristen and yeah, we would just I've definitely been called stuff there. I got pushed in the basement by something.
Well, when
I
we were there, the house next door was still there, the
yeah,
one that had the pedophile in it.
yeah,
So I was getting a lot of things because I couldn't even go out the back because the only place I felt any sense of freedom was in the alleyway on the side that you
okay.
drive up to get in.
Yeah,
It's the only place I felt comfortable, but that place was nuts. And I want to go back because we didn't stay there,
yeah,
but we had people who stayed there who were literally leaving in the middle of the night. They
yeah.
refused to stay.
My ex-husband, when he went there the first time, a couple of like probably about 4 or 5 years ago, they had somebody get possessed there. It was like they had a whole possession, yeah. And I've had like there was like 3 or 4 people that have like
That
returned
place
story.
ain't no joke.
Oh
There's
no.
so much going on, and now I
Yeah.
guess there's another house not too far from
The
it.
Ross house, yeah. Yeah. Although I haven't had a whole lot go on there, but I know people that's claim that there's stuff that there, so that's got an antique store that's connected. My headboard in my bedroom came from the antique
really?
shop that's connected to the Ross
Oh
house.
my goodness. Yeah, and I only seen that by accident when I, like, was scrolling because I death
Yeah.
scroll on
Yeah.
Facebook. So, but is there any place that you think you'd never go back to again?
No. Like I'm like I
We're
if I
gluttons for punishment.
if there was any place, it would only be because I thought it sucked or something like that. It wouldn't because
I think that's how I am too. If it's someplace that I didn't
yeah.
think.
I would never leave an investigation. I would never unless like for being scared. I would never leave anywhere for being scared. Like
Yeah.
it's just I'm not like gonna front like I don't ever get freaked out a little bit, but I mean not enough to leave. I paid money usually.
Right.
I
That's what we're
I
there
but
for.
I will run in circles, but I won't leave. Like when
Yeah.
we were at Mansfield, I was up in that chapel and I ran all the way down to the safe room. And I could hear, like, when we listened back to the EVPs, someone saying, "Man, I liked it so much better when she couldn't run." Because I do now. I don't warn anybody. I just go. Boom.
Bolt.
She's
They're looking
gone.
for me and I'm gone. You
when
know?
I when I was in Mansfield last February, filming stuff, my ex husband and another guy were in that room that's off of the chapel.
Okay.
They were
Excuse
recording
me.
stuff, but like I was walking all around, where like the tour for Shawshank is like with
Right.
the kind of checkered looking floors,
Yep.
walking all around by myself. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I felt somebody was behind me, and I'm like, you can walk with me if you want to, as long as you don't like touch me or anything like that. It didn't feel like harmful, but I felt him following me. I'm assuming it's a him. It just felt like a him. But like I get into that room and I'm walking, and my ex was like, "Is Lauren with you?" Lauren Hans that creates the REM pods. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah, the
yeah,
crystal pods.
yes, that's my girl.
Yes, I love
So
her.
yes, she's great. So she was with me at one point downstairs, but she was not with me walking around. So he's like, "Is there?" I thought somebody was behind you. I need a sip of your water. Give me a second. Okay.
That'll make me choke.
It's just your thumb.
So he's like, I thought somebody was behind you. And I'm like, no, I'm by myself. Well, then, like 5 minutes later, Lauren walks in, and like Lauren doesn't even 100% believe in like normal good, like ghosts. You know what
Right.
I mean? But she's walking, and all of a sudden, she bolts right towards us. And she's like, there was something that moved, like there's plastic. It sounded like plastic moved right next to me, and like something did something. And she's like, she just bolted towards us. And I'm like, yeah, well, he saw something behind me, him and the other guy. So they saw whatever that was walking with me. But like I said, it didn't feel bad. It felt like,
Yeah, um when I was there, I was doing TikTok lives. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm bored, so I go live on TikTok.
yeah.
And we were in that room that they call like the safe room.
Hmm.
And then when you walk outside, it's where it kind of branches off into like 2 sets of cell areas. And then
Yeah.
there's the little courtyard where the smokers go.
Yeah.
Well, I was a smoker at the time. So I would going back and forth there. But when I would stand there, I could literally like look up the one hall and I swear I could watch things
Hmm.
going back and forth, between everything. And I'm just like, I'm just standing there live on TikTok and I'm like, "Do you guys see anything?" And people are like, "You're crazy." And they're like, "No, no." Like I had a guy come on from Australia and
Wow.
he was just like, "Oh, I just saw something." And I'm like, "Really?" So I'm like, I don't know. I gotta have to like I can't look back. I can't
Baby.
rewind it.
Whenever we were doing the investigation at my house, people that were watching the podcast live, what
We
was
had
her
a
name?
lot of clear stuff coming through.
But
Karma.
somebody was watching live that was like saying that they were seeing stuff. Like there's a shadow figure that lives in my basement.
Yeah.
I've felt it. I've never seen it, but apparently it was standing behind Jenn when she was doing.
That's insane.
Yeah, when she was sitting in the one chair. I don't know if you were doing the Estes or
I think I was
you
doing
were
SDs, but stuff was
sitting
coming
there.
through the spirit box and everything.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was very clear.
My
I'd like to
house is
do the
crazy.
SDs with the I can't remember the experiment with the red light and the white glasses.
Oh my gosh, I know it too. The
Gonsfeld.
yeah,
The
effect. The
Gonsfeld.
yeah,
Yeah, the
with yeah.
Gonsfeld. You have white noise in your ears. You
Mhm.
wear the back in the day, it was ping pong balls taped over your
Yes, we
eyes,
did it with I
and
didn't do it, but my old team member did.
then you stare into a red light.
Yeah, eventually, like
It's
with
like
her, it goes
yeah.
gray or something like that. Well, with her, we were at Madison, and like she did it. She was in this one room. We were on. We had a camera on her, and then I went on live on my phone, and I was sitting with Denise that volunteers there, and I think it
Mhm.
was Shelly, and so she did it, and then all of a sudden things were coming, like these ghosts figures were coming to her one at a time, like almost like they were waiting in line, and she's explaining this woman, and like Denise and Shelly are like looking at each other like, oh my god, because like the woman she was explaining was the woman that's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And like,
Mansfield is nuts too.
yeah,
Or
I should
I mean
try that.
Madison. I'm Madison.
yeah,
Because when we were there, they had the doll
yeah,
that they would find it in different rooms all
yeah,
the time. Like when
yeah.
we got there, it was upstairs, and when we were going down to have pizza, it was down in one of the basement rooms.
Oh shit.
And there was
Ooh, I
only
got the
4 of us,
chills.
and I was the young one. Like at the time, the team that I was working with, they were all elderly.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, frig, if something comes after us here, I'm the only one that's going to be able to get out. But yeah, that was like, and thankfully they taught me so much.
Yeah,
But I remember being there, and that place was because
yeah.
I know the only other place that I like really remember, and I don't even know if it's still around. It was somewhere in West Virginia. Believe it or not, it was a gentleman's club. It was like a stripper place,
Okay.
and they were having stuff there, and they asked our team to come.
I would
And
investigate a stripper place.
Hell
dude,
yeah.
we had so much fun. We were dancing on the poles and
Yeah, I would have
everything.
been like on stage.
That and it wasn't. It was the guy that ran our team
Okay.
that was out on the stripper pole.
Oh my god. That's
And like
amazing.
literally, like we and it was so weird because we had video where like all around the dance floor and the upper level was mirrors. And we had video what looks like almost like ectoplasm traveling
Wow.
between the mirrors.
Oh
Wow.
shit.
And that was the most insane shit I've ever seen. Like it reminded me of the shit you saw from the spiritualist movement when they would be filming the psychics, and of course a
Yeah.
lot of it was debunked, but
Yeah.
The
we
cheese
were
swans or
watching this,
something. Yeah.
or smoke
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but like I'm sitting there watching this in real time on a video camera,
Mm.
and I'm thinking maybe all of it wasn't faked, man, but it just gave me that like I will never have two mirrors facing each other ever again.
I know for the longest time in my bedroom, I had a mirror on the wall, and I have a closet door that's mirrors, and they just, for like years, just faced
Oh,
each
well,
other.
I have my mirrors in my bedroom face each other.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. We did
It's supposed to be like
experiments.
a portal.
At the
Ah.
Bel Air house, we did an experiment. We raised the EMF. My one old team member, he had like a metal fan with magnets on it. He'd run it and he'd put like this tarp over it. And there was this blue light. And then like in the middle, and then on the two chairs were two mirrors facing each other. Like they were trying to like conjure something. And then like I was
I
sitting
would
on
try it.
the old hospital bed that was up there with another girl, Katie, that used to own the Greenville Manor with Marcus, and all of a sudden you just felt like something kicked the corner of the bed because it like shook us. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't like to do anything like that. Like I'll do some crazy experiments. Like at the Keeley Mansion, a lot of the activity was in the basement. We literally sealed off the basement with like the one room where we had the most activity. We sealed it off with plastic and tape and filled it with
Okay.
smoke,
Oh wow.
like a fog machine, and then put
Mhm.
grids up in there.
Oh, that's cool.
It's only because I saw it on Ghost Hunters. So I wanted I don't watch shows much, but this one they were actually doing a location up by where I grew up. It was an animal testing facility, and they said it was an insane asylum, but it wasn't. It was a nursing home, and before
Okay.
it was a nursing home, it was a poor farm. And the only
Okay.
reason why I knew the history is because my great grandmother was a patient there.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't an insane asylum, it was a nursing home,
Yeah. They
and it was a
often try
poor
to
farm.
say they try to say poor farms are asylums
Yeah, and
also.
they
Mm.
weren't because, like, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if many people are familiar with them, but poor farms are basically where people that had no money went and lived, and they
Yeah.
worked the land.
Yeah. Yeah. We have
And
the Greene County one that's not like about 45 minutes from here. I love that. That's a place you got to go sometime. That place is great. But yeah, I've had people say, "Oh yeah, it was an asylum." No, it was a poor farm. Well, you
yeah,
know.
and people, I think it's because it's more interesting if something's an asylum
Yeah.
because, well,
Well,
like,
you
oh,
know
it's a
what?
poor farm.
Like that poor farm, the Greene County one, their oven that they still cook pizza in. They still cook pizza in this, like for their because they have events there. It's a historical society now. A woman was staying at the poor farm, had a baby,
And put it in the oven?
put it in the oven, and
Cooked it.
this is a long yeah, and it's a long time ago, but they
And they
still
use that
they
oven?
they use the
Oh,
oven to
hell
cook
to the
pizza.
no. I would not be
Yeah,
eating
Yeah, hell
pizza there,
no.
man.
yeah.
I
Don't eat the
wouldn't.
pizza at the
No,
poor farm.
no.
No, man,
It's
like,
got
seriously, like, it's
baby
not even the
juice on
matter of
it.
that it happened so long ago,
Oh
it's
my
just the fact
god.
that,
It's
you know,
just
That's
yeah,
that's
awful.
just, yeah, like, why? You
yeah.
know, that's like going over to Ireland to, like, where the Magdalene laundries were and Tuath and stuff and, like, wanting to use the heater. Those babies'
Yeah.
bodies were found in that
Yeah.
oil tank.
Yeah.
Like, why would you
So
do
yeah.
that? Because I hear stories. I have cousins in Ireland,
Okay.
and his apartment is actually in an old Magdalene laundry.
Okay.
And he'll call me up. He lives in Waterford, and he'll call me up cursing
Mm.
because of the stuff that goes on there. And I'm like, move.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, because I'm on the dole, and dole won't pay for me to go anywhere else. That's their form of, like, welfare over there,
yeah.
and
Mm.
because he was an addict, he gets free housing. And he's like, "They won't let me go anywhere else." And I'm like, "Well, then I don't know. I don't know, burn some incense, get some holy water."
That's what they do though.
Cleanse the place.
They put the people that are like down and out at places
In
look
these
at,
fucked up
look at the
places.
Cecil Hotel. It is now a
Yeah.
low income apartment
Is it?
place.
I
Yeah.
thought it was they
Yes.
were
Yep.
turning it into a luxury hotel.
No,
No,
we
it
were
is.
just there last April. I was just in
Well, I
front of
think
it.
it's part low income housing, part
A
still,
hotel.
isn't it?
It might be a part
Under
hotel.
a different name, or at least it used to be.
Yeah.
Under a part
But
of a couple floors of it was like a different.
and it's like,
name.
why would you want to stay in a hotel there if that's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like,
No.
there's people that go
Especially
on
the
TikTok.
history of that
Oh
place.
God,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Same.
I don't, like, I've watched, so many documentaries about
Mhm.
that. I had a guy
Yeah,
actually that messaged me about coming on the podcast that actually has done a lot of, research into the Cecil. And it's one of
yeah,
my, true crime is one of my things. I
yeah.
always, like, once in a while, I'll do solos, shows where I talk about true crime and how they line up with some urban legends. Like, we have a woman in white story that is prominent in our area, but it's actually tied to a true crime case that still hasn't been solved to this
Mm.
day.
We did a podcast cast episode on Elisa Lamb and the Cecil Hotel because that was rough, and people are drinking the water and they're like, "Oh, it's funny." Well, there's a
Well,
dead
yeah,
body.
and then Ramirez,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
I'm really letting myself, I'm putting myself out there. I am a huge freak when it comes to serial killers. When
yeah.
I was in college, we took a course in criminal justice, in my track, and one of our things was to write letters to serial killers
Okay.
because we were studying the mind of a serial killer. And so we were encouraged to write and ask questions. And so I was like, "Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Who am I going to write?"
yeah.
And yeah, so yeah. And when I found out, like, when I hear about, like, Ramirez being there, and I like it's nuts.
There was two killers there.
He was just crazy. He like
other
just
guy?
would walk through the building like in his underwear,
Oh yeah, he
covered
threw
in
his
blood.
clothes in the. But like that, remember there was
Nobody.
another serial killer.
Yes,
And
he was from
another
another
country.
country, from like
Yes.
Sweden.
I
He was from
remember the one time I
the
watched
bra
Ghost
strangler.
Adventures. The one time I watched Ghost Adventures, and it was on the Cecil.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
forget his
it was
name.
actually well done, but he covered that on there.
Yeah, the guy
Yeah.
strangled people with the bra.
With your
I
bra.
said my bra's so big, I would have jumped out the window and used it as a
Yeah, and I'd
parachute.
be, dangling, I'd be using mine as a swing, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't have that luxury. I'd be dead.
Hey, dude, that was the one thing I hoped with losing 100 pounds would go, but it didn't
No.
Yeah,
happen.
I'm wondering. I don't think I'll lose that much because even when I was like younger and thinner,
I always
I
was
still had a lot.
busty.
Maybe
Yeah,
not as
I'm at
much as
like
now, but I still had a lot.
I'm at 107 pounds of weight loss, and I only
That's
went down
awesome.
band size, not cub size. So
Oh,
if that's any indication.
well,
But
that's what I
yeah,
have to look
no.
forward to then.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how small your titties get. They're
They're
not gonna
awful.
get small. They're like the most massive things I've ever seen in my life.
They're not even that big.
I
They're
do very good
huge.
at hiding mine, man. I had mine behind my hair, big sweatshirts. I mean, I'm still to the point where I refuse to get too much new clothes, so I'm still wearing like 3Xs that are
Yeah.
hanging off me.
Yeah.
The only thing
Yeah.
I got new were pants.
I told her I lived in like dresses, leggings, and tunics while I was losing because like
I know.
you could go a couple
I'm
sizes
sad
and
because I
not have
always
to
want to
get.
buy clothes, and right now I'm like, yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Don't.
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 I mean, Shein and Temu became my friend.
Oh, I'm very good friends with Timu.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I just got some things from Shein for the summer because I like to do pastel goth.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm all, yeah, as you can tell, I'm all into the pastel. I don't plug these in because I had a guest on. These actually light up,
Okay.
but I had a guest on the one time and it was distracting her. So I stopped plugging them in. But yeah, my kids were like, "Why did you get cat ears?"
Why
'Cause
not?
they're cute.
And
Yeah.
I
Why
said,
not?
"Because I need something that's symbolic of me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing I ever did when I went to a con was I got cat ears and a tail. And for 4 days at a Comic-Con, I walked around with cat ears and a tail on.
Yeah. You do you?
Yeah.
Right, and I
You
said
do you, bro.
everybody needs a niche, and my niche is, my hair, and because
Yeah.
I change it every time. I don't think I've worn the same hair twice
That's
for
awesome.
my podcast. But, okay, oh my gosh, we're over an hour. But, just
Just
let
sitting
everybody
here.
know where they can find you.
Yeah, we have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Appalachian Ghost Girls. My personal Instagram is Morticia
Morticia
Kardashian.
Kardashian, yep.
Yep, yep. And then if you want to, is there anything you
Mine
want?
is Auntie Coco, but I have like 5 followers, so just follow her. Follow our Appalachian Ghost
Well,
Girls
and
page.
I've learned how I got followers is I connected my Facebook to my Instagram, so I don't even have to post on I only post on one or the other
Yeah, and
because
I
they
go right
carry
to it.
over. Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah,
makes it so
yeah.
much easier for me.
Smart.
Yep,
Yeah. I'm
so
not
much.
like
And I'll
social
have
media
links
savvy.
on our YouTube channel. The links will be in our description, so everybody will
Awesome.
be able to find you. So give me a
Awesome.
second. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
From our friends at Got Knockers, Strange Knocks Magazine. Strange Knocks Magazine is your ultimate companion for exploring the enigmatic corners of our world. Delve into the shadows with us as we uncover the mysteries surrounding cryptids like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and examine the tantalizing possibility of extraterrestrial life visiting Earth. Our pages are filled with compelling true crime stories that defy conventional explanation, alongside mind-bending conspiracy theories that challenge the status quo. Whether you're a seasoned skeptic or a curious believer, Strange Knocks Magazine invites you to expand your horizons and entertain the unexplained. With captivating articles, expert interviews, and reader submissions, each issue promises to spark your imagination and thrill your sense of wonder. Join us in our quest to illuminate the unknown, one strange knock at a time. From our friends at Got Knockers, Strange Knocks Magazine, read the description for further information.